let's go ahead and introduce the players. In the bottom right-hand position as the green Zerg, we have Ret ViBe. And in the top left-hand position, as the red Zerg, we have Gamma Bear Sen. So what do you think ViBe should do from here? Do you think he should do like a 6 pool or a 10 pool, which is considered, I would say, a blitz, or something crazy like a Hail Mary? Pretty good at football,
I think a flea flicker maneuver is good.
All right,
as long as he fake punts and onside kicks right afterwards. You think you know more football than me?
I have no clue anything about football, bro. I'm just trying to show off.
What's the difference between a fullback and a halfback?
A fullback is defense. Halfback goes the whole thing.
All right, we're done.
This is standard soccer, bro.
Point made. Point made. ViBe is going for the tempo, just like you were saying,
are you talking about soccer
Andre.
or football?
Talking about American football.
Football. That's what I'm talking about, son. Football.
Whatever, man. Whatever. We have ViBe actually going for the tempo, and Sen's going for hatchery first.
Delicious.
Now, by build order, statistically, this should beat Sen.
What would you give the odds for ViBe right now?
Well, Sen, it comes down to if you can control it. Now, there's many times people have held off tempo with great control, especially if you can get it.
Look at that. He saw the Overlord. No, he didn't see the Overlord, but he went around the Overlord. Maybe he did see it.
Oh, did he? Yeah, you're
just
right.
went,
try to see if you can catch it. And
these mind games, man.
Sen also backs off his Overlord because he doesn't want to move in too close, knowing that maybe the pool could be done, and that'd be sacking it. At this point, Sen is still just getting everything else normally, hatchery and pool at pretty standard times. Now, the Zerglings do arrive, and Sen has seen it with his Overlord, so he knows what to do. And you have to really protect the drones and wait for the Zerglings to come out. Fighting the drones against the Zerglings directly can be extremely difficult. If you can get the surround immediately, that would even be better. Ooh. But look at that, Sen pulling back the weak drones. Now he's going to start queuing up some Zerglings, and he can buy some time for it. But until then, ViBe is more than content with droning up back at home and forcing the drones off mineral lines. Wow, taking some extra damage.
What is going on? These drones are supercharged, man.
What? Oh, man, making sure the Zerglings can't even leave.
Real life?
And Sen's also pulling back the weak drones, making the mineral walk to the void, and now he's got his own Zerglings, and Sen holds beautifully with 2 hatcheries and the drone advantage. This is not looking good for our Zerg from Root.
There will be a Baneling follow-up. It looks like a Speedling Baneling or something like that. No, I'm not sure now.
Oh, well, he's
droning. He just put the hatchery?
Yeah, he's droning, and he doesn't have enough I mean, he just started gassing, and he doesn't have a huge drone count, so even if ViBe was able to really do damage, his follow-up would come much later. Let's take a closer look at some of that drone micro so we can get a piece of that action. Now, the big thing was, again, he pulled the drones that were weak back and make sure to show patience and just added some damage to the Zerglings to make them soft. And that way, you know, ViBe, if he ever slipped up, his Zerglings would die. You can see immediately he's still fighting and making sure to push back the drone lines very softly with his offensive linemen, or defensive linemen in this case.
Yeah, the fullbacks.
Stop it. You can see he gets a good surround, and he traps his Zerglings as well, making sure to keep harassing. Now, again, once his Zerglings come out, he knows he's good, and especially if you can keep the Zergling count in your favor, that from there should be able to do everything. Let's jump back into the live broadcast where ViBe has attempted to go for a hatchery, and he just knows he's behind from this point. Going to have to make some units as well just for security. He's getting his Bane Nest just like you were saying. Regardless, though, Sen is ahead, keeping that hatchery alive for that much longer. He has more injects, but look at this. I love Sen awareness and his situational decisions. Going for 2 spine callers, 3 queens to be very comprehensive in his defense.
Exactly, and that's awesome because it keeps him safe against Baneling Zerglings. And yes, if you look at the income tab, it was 18 to 18, but that's not where you get your advantage. You get it afterwards when your injects are actually useful. And now the spine crawlers are down. He's looking so beautiful at this point because he's safe against most Zergling Baneling attacks. With good micro, he will be able to stop everything that comes his way. Metabolic Boost is just about to kick in, and you can see Baneling Nest completed for ViBe. Now, what I would do for if I was in ViBe's position is actually show these Banelings. Show them, start morphing them in front of him. I don't care. But force Sen to do some sort of reaction, a big reaction. Try to get him to make additional spine crawlers or something. because you want to keep him off of mining as long as possible. That way you can catch up a little bit.
Yeah.
But this pressure is forced.
Oh, Sen's going to resend his drones back to the
God.
natural middle line, and a lot are clumping up perfectly. And Sen was not paying attention to those units. Some more drones end up dropping. Now, ViBe gets another great explosion, and he actually saves an incredible amount of Zerglings as well. Sen was droning this entire time. ViBe takes the worker lead, and he's joining up very nicely behind as well. And all of a sudden, ViBe was able to equalize very nicely because Sen got a little complacent with his drone transfer. No, it was just a rally actually with his hatchery. That's what costed him. And just like that, Sen drops a huge amount of workers during the entire engagement. 13, now 14 workers were killed that engagement.
And that was the whole advantage that he had from the beginning stages. So beautifully done by ViBe. But I have to say, it's more of a mistake from Sen. I think, obviously, bringing those drones back onto the mining line.
From the
that was a little bit silly, obviously. But still, both these players are in pretty decent positions to go forward. Income tab shows equal harvester, so I think that equalized everything, honestly, Frodan.
Yeah, and I want to say that ViBe was able to make a snap decision because a lot of times, I mean, if Sen caught his drones, he could have baited the Zerglings and Banelings really badly, and all of a sudden, Sen would have been able to pick off the Banes, and then the ViBe's attack would have been a lot less effective. So it was a good move on ViBe's behalf as well. But for now, we see that Sen is going to tech up to layer very quickly. He's about to finish up much quicker than his opponent, giving him some more flexible options. Sen has shown inclination to go things like mutas in the past. Oh, actually, that's exactly what he's doing.
Yep. Seems reasonable as 4 gas this early, given the state. Now, I don't know where Sen actually thinks he is. I would say that Sen thinks he's behind, especially after seeing this 3rd base. This shows a lot of confidence. Your opponent, or excuse me, you read that your opponent is very confident with taking this 3rd base as we had it, because he's really saying, well, you know, I'm so comfortable that I know you're not going to attack that I could take the 3rd and defend against anything. So I think what Sen's reading is that he's behind, and that's why I would say he's doing this Spire Tech. Now, we haven't seen Spire Tech do very well, but we've also seen it just do awful. And it depends if, you know, it's actually scouted out. That's the big thing. And I don't see any Overseers inbound for this to scout out. So I'm getting kind of worried for ViBe, actually.
ViBe's vision is very secluded to his half the map. Same thing with Sen. But of course, that was after such a volatile early game, you can't really expect that much. ViBe's just going to send a scout and sees a very delayed 3rd, and that's going to make him happy. But again, he doesn't have a good view of what Sen is doing back at home. You can see he doesn't have any sight of when gas timings were taken as well. He's just going to move out here blindly, assuming he has a pretty good macro advantage, which isn't necessarily the worst assumption. You can see ViBe has a huge influx of supply. That's because of the 20 roaches that are inbound. And with these 11 mutas popping, he might get the 3rd cancel, and ViBe might still be able to do a lot of damage before the mutas really amount to anything. As you can see, Sen right now just frantically trying to defend his natural.
Well, the mutas are going to help so much. There's a transfuse on one of the spine crawlers, and look at that. I mean, he's going to hold this pretty nicely.
Another transfuse, and all of a sudden, ViBe's roaches look very thin. He doesn't even take out a single spine crawler. You got to be joking me, Sen. ViBe doesn't do anything with his attack, and all of a sudden, Sen takes it a supply advantage. What on earth just happened here, Gretorp?
And that never happens when you're going muta. I cannot believe that just happened. And ViBe was trying to hit a timing, obviously. With that +1 finishing, he was looking really good if his opponent went for Roach Zergling. But as it stands, it is mutas, and these are going to clean up everything on the map. You can see roaches just need to hightail and run against these mutas. They can't obviously shoot up. But more importantly, he loses map control. All overlords on the board gets removed from ViBe. You can see no green. Actually, complete darkness in the middle of the map. That's really tough.
Yeah, he's gonna lose even further. But as Andre keeps a tab on the mutas, let's look once again at what just happened, because we need to look at what ViBe was not really able to do there. Sen does continue to run past everything at the natural, and I thought we were gonna have a replay, but we're not. Instead, Sen's just gonna dive everything at the natural middle line. Now, ViBe has a good amount of spore crawlers, but he doesn't have his left side exposed, meaning that ViBe really can't protect his geysers. And this is actually really important Shutting down a gas geyser, an entire gas geyser for ViBe, means that he can't really get anything else to answer the mutas as quickly.
Correct.
He's trying to go for infestors but whatnot, but if he limits an entire geyser, it's going to be huge. He's trying to take out the Banus as well, but the queens are transfusing it, so very good micro from both sides. Sen trying to see if he can pick off these queens, which would be vital, but great transfuse again from ViBe. Some drones are dying to the splash damage. Nonetheless, Sen has been doing some great harass. 73 harvesters to 59, and his third is up and running.
And as you can see, the infestors are coming up here with pathogen glands, so he's not opting to go hydras. When you go hydras normally, it gives you some sort of huge attack, whether it be +1 or +2, but you can normally hit your opponents before they're able to get up their third or fourth base, which I think Muta strategies really need. But as we see, additional Muta harass is going to do a good job at this third base, continually taking out some drones. But I do want to mention that the infestors, they're necessary at defending. Obviously, they're the best way to defend against mutas. But it is hard to actually, I would say, it's hard to actually like transition fully into it just because you need a ton of energy. So Sen has a ton of time to know his opponent can attack him. Just because obviously you don't have enough energy to kill everything.
That's a great point. I like the initiative ViBe's taking. Oh, the infestors are very exposed, and ViBe is forced to burn an immediate fungal. Now, some of these mutas are very weak. Fungal with the queen should be able to snipe a lot of them. ViBe manages to catch just a couple of them, but an infestor does not drop. Great transfuses again. Look at this. Both players utilizing transfuse very nicely in this DVZ matchup.
Ooh.
And
he's going to push from here?
Oh.
This would be really weird.
I guess because he feels...
Oh, he has a 2-2 timing coming in.
Oh, you're right.
That is really weird. I didn't think there would be any timings because this is a lot of gas investment right here. All the infestors that he got, think about how many roaches that is. And look at this. Sen already has his own infestor. So that's why I feel like this timing is really weird.
It felt weird because he also used a lot of his infestor energy just now, too.
Yes.
And I felt like, wow, he's going to be aggressive even though he doesn't have that. Now, he does have a lot of queens who, you never know. We just saw a couple queens take out an entire pack of roaches with this assistance of mutas. And ViBe is having second thoughts of whether or not he wants to push out here. Did he scout anything specific? No, he's just going to move to the southern half here and try to see if he can gear for another expansion.
And I agree with this. Obviously, it's the more conservative play, but you don't want to be pushing out because so much gas is here. I mean, if you want to look at it this way, if you just look at it in gas, which is normally the limiting factor in StarCraft 2, it's 150 gas for an infestor that makes 6 roaches. 6 roaches. So if you have 5 infestors out, that's a theoretical 30 roaches that you're down. Ooh. And if you're going to push out with no energy, that's a big problem.
Sen does a mini run by and picks off a couple of the drones, which again it's just been a good story of the mid-game. Sen's been able to do that, and even sniping this expansion in the bottom center, all a ploy to really keep his macro advantage. And hatcheries from this point on are very important in terms of larva count. Let's look at the units tab. 27 larva, 28 larva to 10. And that is going to just be a huge indicator of what happens after the first engagement. Sen now moving out with full infestor energies. ViBe about half on each of his infestors. That can completely swing the direction of the battle. Nonetheless, one thing I do like is ViBe's initiative to spread creep because he saw his opponent went mutas, and so that gives him really good defensive maneuvering.
Yes. But right now, there is a pretty giant window. You can see +2 attack is just about 35 seconds away. Excuse me, 45 seconds away. So if he pushes out, obviously he'll have the 2-2 over his opponent's 1-1. Still, he isn't. The window is closing, obviously, 30 more seconds until his opponent's roaches become a lot more relevant in this fight. And we're going to see ViBe, I think, try to do something about this. These queens are so slow.
These queens are incredibly slow off creep, but that actually might not be banned. But yes, this could be a flank that ViBe was searching for, and you can see that Sen's not necessarily in position, but this also puts him very weak to any attack from behind with reinforcements from Sen. Sen immediately dropping fungals everywhere. These hydras from ViBe trying to go to work, but at this time, Sen caught up in upgrades. He's at 2-1, not that far behind of ViBe, and ViBe is now reduced just to queens, and queen buffs are great, but can it hold to a huge amount of roaches and the hydras with fungals? And the answer is no. go. Sen stayed at max. Root ViBe now down to just 136 supply. And with that, the dwindling hopes from our Root Zerg.
The fact of the matter is there's so much supply caught up in those queens. It's too tough to actually do those engagements. And when you're going off creep, well, your queens aren't even fighting. They're relegated to transfusing. That's a ton of DPS. If it was like, you know, 8 queens and there were 6 queens even, that's still 6 potential roaches that could have had concave, but they don't anymore. So it's a really tough position for ViBe. And now, again, he's going to be caught out of position. Unfortunate. Nice fungal growth.
Very nice.
He's going to plant all of those units in place, and that's going to be a GG well played gets called. And Sen will take it 2-0.
Sen takes the series 2-0, which puts him at a very good position to take number 2 behind Huck. Well, now, if Huck loses, all of a sudden, I think Sen actually takes the lead because he has more points. So as a result, if Sen takes this 2-0, and if Gonzi wins also tonight, if Gonzi plays later tonight, if he wins 2-1, then all of a sudden Sen and Gonzi are tied for second, and if Huck loses, Sen and Gonzi are tied for first. So a very interesting dynamic we have in our group. This is a very important win for Sen. I can't stress it enough.
Yeah, but you know, Sen just looked to out-macro his opponent, and that was really that. I mean, better decision-making. Obviously, the roach timing being stopped was critical, but overall, just great macro from Sen. He proves yet again why he is the drone king of StarCraft 2.
At the very end of the game, Sen still had 56 larvae in queue, which was insane. Like, he had that much max still and ready to go. So, another max and a half, basically, was what Sen had prepared as he takes game number 2 in convincing fashion on Antiga Shipyard. Let's thank you to Azo, the people who provide the monitors for NASL Season 3.